everybody. I'm Andy Bozarth, Director of Outreach and Advocacy here at AARP Kansas. Welcome to the Coffee Chat. Today, I am joined by Kim Nitz from the Parkinsons Foundation here in the Kansas City metro area. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Andy. Happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to make time for this coffee chat.
Thank you again.
Now, I understand that this is actually Parkinson's Awareness Month. And can you tell us a little bit about what Parkinson's is?
Yes, and that's why we're so happy to be here. The month of April, we annually recognize Parkinson's and try to build awareness about it and all the many resources that are available for those living with Parkinson's or those who love someone with Parkinson's. And I just a quick disclaimer, I am not a neurologist nor a clinician, but I do get to work a lot with the Parkinson's community. And in terms of what Parkinson's is, it is a neurological disease. And it's actually the second most common neurological disease following Alzheimer's. So sometimes people are surprised to learn that we estimate around 1 million people in the United States are living with Parkinson's disease. So
that's a lot of people that are impacted.
It is. And when we say what is Parkinson's, so many times we think first of a tremor. Many people originally in the 1800s when Parkinson's was first kind of discovered, they called it the shaking palsy. So, that tremor is the more visible aspect of it, but there are many features of Parkinson's that we kind of call those symptoms beneath the surface, things that folks don't see.
What are some of those symptoms?
So some of the real early signs we find are a loss of sense of smell. And now with, that same symptom that people are finding with COVID-19, that's less discernible. But so loss of sense of smell, certainly a slowness of moving. There is anxiety and depression that often can accompany Parkinson's disease. And one of the big things that our foundation does is we really focus on how to live your best life with Parkinson's. With 1 million people living with Parkinson's, you are not alone. There are many things you can do to live a great life.
That's good. That's always a wonderful message to hear. And who typically gets Parkinson's?
So Parkinson's can affect anyone, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender. It typically is first diagnosed around the age of 60, maybe early 60s. There are approximately 60,000 people diagnosed each year with Parkinson's. There's also a component of folks under 50 that we call young onset PD. That's less common, but certainly does occur, and we like for people to understand that. Yes, so that's sort of who is affected. It really can be anyone. Men are typically, we see a little more frequency of men being diagnosed, but yes, it knows no boundaries.
So basically it can impact anyone or the family. So many families are impacted by it because it can impact anybody. And
Yes.
So for these families and these people who have Parkinson's, what does the Parkinsons Foundation do and provide?
So yes, and I love that you brought up families because it's a journey, and we're all on it together. I know my own grandfather, who we were from Hutchinson, Kansas, and he lived many years with Parkinson's disease, and you really do realize, it's that you're the support system. So through the Parkinsons Foundation, we do have an office here in the Kansas City area in Overland Park. So, but we have also the national organization that really provides a number of resources. We have many educational programs that we do from here in the across the Kansas, the state. We have been doing those virtually, of course, over the past year, but when conditions allow, we will be hosting in-person programs that we try to host. We've had one in Wichita in the past. We'll have one in the Kansas City area. We also work closely with the University of Kansas Med Center has a Parkinson's and movement disorders clinic. They are designated as a Parkinsons Foundation Center of Excellence. So that means that they provide really top-notch care to those living with Parkinson's. So that's another thing that we do. We also maintain on our website, parkinson.org, we maintain a great list of support groups and wellness and exercise groups. That is one of the real keys to living your best life with Parkinson's is, finding those others. And support groups are such a valuable way to do that. And then, of course, on the exercise front, secondary to medication treatment, exercise is really key to Parkinson's quality of life.
Wow. What would you say is the most important thing to know if you or someone that you love has Parkinson's?
Well, first, we would ask you, to reach out, get connected with resources. It's really important that those resources be evidence-based education. I think we're all subject to an immediate, Google search and finding things that may not be based in research or evidence. So we always encourage people, if you think you have Parkinson's or if you've been newly diagnosed, do reach out to the foundation. We have a free national helpline, and you'll see the number at the bottom of your screen. And they are trained to help really guide that newly diagnosed person. We have something called a newly diagnosed packet of resources that we can get out and help people get started on that journey. So we encourage you to do that. And then probably most importantly after that is to be sure that you are moving, that you're finding a group or an individual exercise program, whether it's working with a physical therapist or working with a trained fitness instructor. But those programs can be found, again, through our website. And, what we say is what's good for the body is good for the brain. So, just being sure that we all keep moving is essential to aging in general.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're finding more and more that exercise and keeping your body moving is one of the most important things you can do as you age. And along with that, if I want to know more about Parkinson's and I want to keep it in that science-based part that you were talking about earlier, how would I go about finding out more about Parkinson's?
Well, we would encourage you to attend our educational programs. And fortunately, last week we actually did it was called a Parkinson's Disease 101 program. It was with one of the KU doctors. And we actually do have that posted out on our Parkinsons Foundation YouTube channel. And encourage folks to go look for that. So PD 101. And it gives just a nice overview of really understanding the disease. So that is one of the biggest things. And then reaching out to the support group community and really getting that support system in place.
Wow, the Parkinsons Foundation has a lot of information available for people. And I understand you have a helpline.
Yes. So, that national helpline is actually staffed with experts who are nurses, social workers, and we take more than 20,000 calls a year. So
Wow.
they really have heard and are well versed in such a wide variety of Parkinson's related questions.
Mhm.
They also are a great resource. I wanted to take just a moment and point out. So, one of the things the foundation does is we offer a free book series that is focused on, I think it's either 11 or 12 different areas related to Parkinson's. These books are downloadable. You can view them on your Kindle, or you can actually order them through our helpline. And so you kind of see an example of this. This is sort of a getting started book, Living Your Best Life, but written by Parkinson's clinicians and experts. And, one of the important, you discussed earlier about family members and, that care partner, the person, providing that everyday support and care. We know that, there are many things for them to learn and guidance that they need. And so we actually have another book called Caring and Coping. So I always like to be sure that that folks know about that, and it really helps as a great resource to the caregiver.
Wow, that book series is fascinating. And what other topics are covered in some of the book series?
So we have one on sleep, we have one on cognition as well as mood. So oftentimes, I talked about some of those symptoms beneath the surface, and we want people to recognize that things like mood challenges, I said anxiety and depression, sometimes dementia can be present with Parkinson's disease. So we have specific books on those. We have a book on managing Parkinson's mid-stride. So I know I talked about the newly diagnosed folks, but let's say you're maybe 5 years plus into that Parkinson's journey. We have a great book that talks about all the things you need to know as you go forward, and very importantly, helps to kind of track your symptoms so that you can be sharing those with your healthcare provider.
What a great idea. I think that book series is just like brilliant. So, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Andy Bozarth. I'm Director of Outreach and Advocacy for AARP Kansas, and I'm joined by Kim Nitz from the Parkinsons Foundation. And we're having a great discussion. So, if you have any questions, please put those into the chat box, and I'm sure Kim would be happy to answer them for you. Let's see. You talked a little bit about the caregivers and the resources that you have available for caregivers. Can you tell us a little bit more about those resources and how people access those?
I would love to. And I think you'll find those resources very comprehensive. I would encourage you to go out to our website, to parkinson.org, and just search on caregiving. We cover the gamut from everything from that in-home, spouse or partner who's providing the care to caregiving from afar. Sometimes maybe we are caring for a loved one that we don't live nearby. And so we give a lot of tips and strategies for that. I also am pleased that the timing is great. Beginning in the month of May and for the duration of May, our focus is on Parkinson's caregiving, and we are offering what we call the Care Partners Summit. Traditionally, this used to be in person. This year, it will be all virtual. But one of the great things about that is being able to reach people anywhere, who may not have been able to come to it in person. And so each Monday and Wednesday during the month of May, we're going to focus on our online Zoom program about a different facet of caregiving. So on Mondays, we're really going to look at self-care for the caregiver. That just keeping, it's sort of like being on an airplane and we say, put your oxygen mask on first, and then you can provide care for your loved one. And that's really essential for caregiving. So on Mondays, we'll be looking at, caring for the caregiver. And then each Wednesday, we'll have a different topic that focuses on, some of the challenges that they may experience, everything from, speech challenges to communication to falls and some of the mobility challenges. So that is, as I said, through the month of May, and you'll find information at parkinson.org about that. But please know at any time you can call our free national helpline too for those resources. And sorry, go ahead, Andy.
Oh, I was going to say, just for people's information, that information is scrolling at the bottom, the helpline number and the Parkinson's website. And I always prepare by going out and checking out your website. And it is an excellent website with tremendous amounts of information. So if you have any questions about Parkinson's, I suggest strongly you go to parkinsons.org/Heartland and get information about what's available in the Kansas area. And one of the things I saw is the hospital safety issues for people. Can you tell me a little bit more about the hospital safety issues?
Yes, and this is another one of the areas of research that where we discovered that oftentimes people with Parkinson's, when they enter the hospital, there's a unique set of considerations that go with having Parkinson's. The medication that's used to treat the tremors and other symptoms, it really does have to be given on time every time to stay therapeutic. So it's more important for a person with Parkinson's than maybe some medication administration that happens in hospitals may provide. So we've created kind of it's a self-advocacy kit is what I consider it for hospital safety. It's called the Aware and Care Kit. I'm trying to get that there in front of my camera.
That's good.
And yeah, so it's, on the surface, it's, yes, it is a bag that's got a lot of good information in it. The bag is designed to also maintain your current prescription so that if you did have to go to the hospital, you've got it available to you. But the real intent of it is to help educate the care team at your hospital, or it could even be in, a different type of care facility, a rehab or such. Just we understand not every clinician understands Parkinson's inside and out. So this is a way for you to really advocate for yourself and to help educate them. I need my medication on time. There are certain medications that should not be given alongside Parkinson's medications. And this is a very effective kit to help do that. So this also is available by calling our helpline. We would love to connect any of the Parkinson's community with this great tool.
That is a great self-advocacy tool. I know that AARP is very concerned about caregivers, and we have a tremendous amount of generic caregiving information, not Parkinson's specific. And you can find that at www.aarp.org/caregiver. And that will be something that you can supplement your information from Parkinson's with. We do have a comment from the audience, and that comment is, many of the senior centers across the state are preparing for reopening for large congregate gatherings. And your program would be excellent to have presentations on, and it would be excellent to have presentations on your program. So that may be some place that you can coordinate with and reach out to, is those senior centers. I happen to know that this particular viewer is from Hays, Kansas. So I think you have your in with the Hays Senior Center now, if you'd like to reach out to them.
I love that. And I think I touched on that earlier, but one of the real advantages that we've come across during this time of moving online and virtual is we have seen folks from Hays and Colby and Salina and Hodge and Newton. So it's really been great to finally be able to reach these communities. There's no reason that these resources can't be out across the state of Kansas. And that's really our goal. We want to reach every person with Parkinson's. And not only from an educational standpoint, beyond that, the Parkinsons Foundation, our two focus areas beyond education are research. So we do research, and one of the things we're doing now that's available to do via telehealth is genetics research.
Wow.
We have a program called Parkinson's disease, PD, generation. And that is where we're looking at folks diagnosed with Parkinson's, and we are doing genetic testing and counseling at no cost. The University of Kansas is one of those testing sites, and it can be done remotely. So again, details are at parkinson.org. And then the third area that we focus on, but beyond education research, is expert care. So making sure that folks living with Parkinson's can get the best care possible. So we do help train. We offer several programs that help train the clinical community as well.
Wow, that's great. You guys are doing a lot, getting all the information out there and helping people learn more. And we found the same thing with going to online outreach. We actually have been able to reach a lot of people that we have not been able to reach in the past. And so there is a benefit actually to having gone virtual. And you talked about all of the different communities that you work with. Do you have anything in particular for veterans?
We do. And you know what we've found over this past year, we've developed a partnership with the VA. Because, again, this was one of those audiences where we just knew there were so many resources that were needed. The VA does recognize Parkinson's and the connection to Agent Orange. So many of our veterans who are living with Parkinson's, we want to be sure they know and are accessing the vast resources available. So we've started a series of educational programs specific to the veterans community. Again, this is one out on our YouTube channel. You can find a program we did on March 20th. If we have any veterans listening today, I encourage you to go out and look for that. It was actually called Veterans and Parkinson's, What You Need to Know. And we'll be doing more of those, going forward. We're just really starting this initiative. So looking forward to connecting those veterans, but lots of material out on our site again. And we also do link to many of the caregiver resources for caregivers of veterans.
Wow, that's great. I know that there are special needs that veterans have, and I know they appreciate information that addresses those special needs.
Yes.
So we're getting close to the end of our conversation. So can you tell me once again how people connect with the Parkinsons Foundation?
Absolutely. So the best starting point is to give our helpline a call. I think you'll find it a very worthwhile phone call that you would place to 1-800-473-4636. The other way that you can initially connect with us is at parkinson.org. You'll find lots of information there. You're able to subscribe to any if you'd like to get emails or updates from us. There's a discussion forum out there where you can really get engaged in a variety of discussion topics around Parkinson's. The other thing that you'll find here in the month of April, there is a quiz for Parkinson's Awareness Month that you're able to take this 10-question quiz and be entered in a prize drawing as well. So we just ask, get connected. And then, beyond that, get connected in your community. We love the Hayes folks for mentioning how valuable this information would be. And we're always looking for opportunities to get more education out around Parkinson's disease.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Kim. This information has been great. And for those of you in the audience, join us next week as we will be discussing the Wichita Veterans Center. So that ties in nicely with what we did today. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Andy.